Hey, how's it going, everyone? It is I, the terrific theist, and I am here with another video. I'm just, on my way to the gym to work out some more. It's a pretty nice day today, So, there's been a lot of talk lately, especially going on in Europe with the whole mass Islamic migration that's been, causing problems with all of the rapes, assault, grooming gangs and all that such, and of course the terrorism. And this is kind of what happens when you have a secular society that is plagued with moral relativism, because the rules are moral relativism is going to lead to cultural relativism and all forms of relativism. It's kind of like how if morals are relative, then what makes a moral better then? After all, it's okay in this culture, but not okay in that culture, so, why should we judge a culture on that, see? Because the left, in an attempt to seem tolerant and stuff, embrace moral and cultural relativism, which is why the police allowed Islamic grooming gangs to target children into basically prostitution as well as rape. That's basically what's happened in Europe right now. Europe is the ultimate example of what happens when moral and cultural relativism becomes a dominant way of thinking in a society and nation. So, yeah. Thanks a lot, communism and secularism. So, yeah. And what secularists refuse to understand is the reality that most morals in the West stem from Christian belief. There are some other beliefs that play into it as well, but most of it's Christian. The idea that murder is a heinous crime, it's a deadly sin. It's one of the reprehensible sins in Christianity. Same thing with rape. Thievery is also frowned upon in America. We hate thieves. Whether or not you're religious or not, your morality and ethics are highly based upon the idea presented in Christianity. Same thing with charity. People like charity. People support charity. People give to charity. That's another idea that is heavily encouraged in the Christian belief and Christian culture. So, you can just put two and two together, and that's where a lot of our beliefs and ideals come from. So, that's just the point, is atheists try to basically say that our morals would be the way they are without the need of Christianity, which I think is total bullshit. Because religion plays a heavy part in people's developments of morals and ethics in a culture. Yeah, you don't have to be religious to have morals and ethics, but to say that if there was no religion, we would still have the same morals and ethics, in my opinion, is bullshit. Because there's always going to be something that's an influence on a culture's morality and ethics in their behavior. So, to say that it will remain the same is just dumb. It's like saying if this historical event did not happen, then the country would still change the same. Basically, it says, if history was different, then the country and culture as a whole would be different as well. It's one of the reasons why alternate history gives you different ideas of how our society would develop if these certain circumstances never happened. So to say that our morals and ethics would be completely the same regardless of whether or not Christianity existed is total bullshit. Or religion as a whole existed. That to me is total bullshit. That to me is basically either straw manning or making up some really unintellectual excuse to say that we could still have the same morals and ethics even if we were a non-religious society. But atheists are very dogmatic. Most atheists, especially the radical ones, come from religious backgrounds, and that very fundamentalist religious background still sticks with them, even if they give up religion. They're still just as dogmatic. They're still just as angry. It's all insecurity on their part and stuff. So that's just the reality, because they're going to act like they're rational, they're logical, they think skeptically, but when you look at it, their emotional outrage, their need to insult, their need to get angry, all that shit, Seems very similar to what a very dogmatic religious person would be. And what they hate the most is religious people who are not like religious fanatics. Like religious people who are intellectual are what they fear the most, because atheists love extreme creationists. They love people like Westboro Baptist Church. They love all the religious fanatics because that gives them a boogeyman and a best example of why people should convert to atheism. It creates their straw man of, if it wasn't for atheism, the religious fanatic would rule the country and stuff. That's their idea, which is total bullshit anyway. But that's how they recruit people, because when you're basically acting almost like a cult and trying to convert people over to your belief system, your ideology, you need a boogeyman, i.e. a devil or, a satanic figure in their mind to basically use as a way of scaring people to their ideology and belief system. So yeah, you won't believe how there are several atheists who are complaining about the fact that people are treating atheism like it's the church of science, which is definitely being treated as such, which is really stupid, because science shouldn't be treated like a religion. It should be treated like a tool and a system of research and study. When you treat science like a religion, then you end up with things like progressives basically talking about how this is true, this is not true, and silencing people with the ability to try and find out what is the truth. So that's what happens when you take science and treat it like a religion. You end up with stuff like the progressive left. So this is the reality that we're dealing with right now, is that we have a lot of atheists that treat science like it's religion, who treat their own beliefs like a religion despite claiming to have evolved past religion, have been awakened and all that bullshit. But instead, they're just the same. See, the reality is, you can give up your beliefs, but it's still pretty hard to give up that dogmatic view that you were, supposedly got rid of or cleansed yourself of when you embraced atheism. So that's just the problem with our modern day cultures. We have people who are intellectually dishonest with other people and themselves and claim that they've moved past all this, but when actually they haven't. Because in today's world, people do not like having a flaw. People like to think that they're perfect and that there's nothing wrong with them when actually there is. Because, stubborn and pride. That's how it is. And until people realize that, we're still going to keep having these problems, which is why people like me have to try and convince people otherwise that, yeah, you can be religious and be intellectual. You can basically believe in science and still be religious. You can be a person of faith, and you don't have to basically, say, oh, we're going to kill all the non-believers and all that bullshit. You can believe in something without having to basically say, oh, you're embracing a tyrannical and evil God and all that bullshit done peddled by atheists. So yeah, what the atheists fear most is intellectual religious people. That's what we need to focus on, is being intellectual, being religious, being able to combat their arguments and destroy their strawmans and annihilating their dogmatic viewpoints. So I'm going to say this, as a terrific atheist, I am definitely up to the challenge, and if anyone wants to debate me, then they're perfectly willing, then they can ask me, and I'll definitely be willing to debate my point. Anyway, folks, if you like this, then please hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you next time. This is a terrific atheist saying God bless.